Together, let's all make a sound, especially right.
Welcome Blues fans, and we're back on the winners list. After the little upset the week before, we've managed to get ourselves well and truly over the line by a nice 100 points against the Tigers. 28 goals to 12 was the end result, and a totally dominating and overwhelming victory for us. And I'm not too overexcited, I have to be honest. I have sat back probably and watched the replay 4 times on Foxtel, but that's okay. I'm not letting it go to my head. Look, last week really did chew me up. I was just devastated with that loss. But I've got over it, and I'm not suddenly here full of myself. I think it was a nice little reality check for this little supporter, saying, hang on, we're not unbeatable, we can be rolled. And it was great to say follow up and look at Richmond. We drew with them in the first game, and this time we came out of the blocks and absolutely stomped on them. As their coach said, I'm sorry, that's all there is to it. And there's nothing more for Richmond to look at. They've got to look at making an effort. They were trying to get themselves back on the track. Look, this is the thing. People said earlier that I was wrong when I said there's not that much difference between the teams in the AFL. There isn't. One of the major differences, though, is the top teams can keep winning consistently and consecutive games. The big upset. Essendon rolled Geelong. Now, Geelong were coming back, and it was a very, very tight finish. But Essendon won after 3 or 4 weeks of very average football, where everyone was riding them off, laying the boots into the coach, laying the boots into the super coach's backup, which of course was the former Geelong coach, Bomber Thompson, and of course James Hird at the helm of Essendon. But they've got over and they've beaten the previously undefeated Geelong Cat. And now everybody's looking over to the West, and West Coast Eagles, after rolling Carlton a couple of weeks ago, have now got Geelong coming off their loss to Essendon. And here's the chance for West Coast Eagles, last year's bottom down and out team, now having a crack at making the finals. What a great comeback for them. I'll tell you what, Geelong, they'll come out kicking and fighting. Don't expect it to be a walk. And they're really going to come up and show their goods. Teams, that's the thing, they can't keep going forever and a day. You have to run out of puff in the end. Still, this week we've got the Western Bulldogs, and it's another must-win game because, look, we're getting towards that business end of the season. All right, we're going to be in the finals. The thing is, we want to go in there with a good series of wins under the belt and not little lapses that are going to show that we've got some weakness there to give our opposition teams a little bit of confidence. For the rest of the clubs that aren't in the 8 yet, because it's not settled by no means, West Coast, as they say, they've got to come up against Geelong and see how they go. Put some credentials on the board. Collingwood have got North Melbourne. Well, I think you'd expect Collingwood to get over the Kangaroos. Collingwood are still travelling pretty easily at the minute. And I do think Geelong will get over West Coast Eagles. Fremantle. Can't forget that other team over in the West. They've got Adelaide this weekend. And, well, Adelaide, they managed to get over Sydney. It was pretty dank and wet down there at Amy Stadium where Adelaide got over Sydney. So I wouldn't say that Adelaide have suddenly shown that Sydney have got a weakness. I think against Fremantle, Adelaide may be found a little bit wanting. Let's see what happens. Essendon, well, coming off their giant killing win, they've got Richmond, who are coming off their humiliating defeat against Carlton on the weekend. God knows who's going to win that game, to be honest. Honestly, I wouldn't put money on that game, even if it was your money, people. And Hawthorn, they've got the Brisbane Lions. And so I think Hawthorn might be going to get back on the winners list and keep another 4 points in the bank. Anyway, people, here we are. We're coming down the home straight towards the end of the season and the September action. Go you Blues!